I never cared about the news much. It always just led to fights back home. Dad insisted on reading the paper to me every morning. He'd stop every time he thought I'd lost focus. So, constantly. When he asked if I understood, I'd say yes. I'd always agree. Whatever wild tale he spun, I would nod along. God forbid Mom walked in while he was raving about the evils of the IRA.
Every Sunday we're short another. You see it too, don't you, boy?
You really think folks are being nabbed? They're here to protect us. Maybe those missing simply found their way to Mass instead.
That always got him heated. She especially emphasized how widely Catholic they were too. And then she'd start asserting they were fighting for a solely Catholic Ireland. Once she'd bring the Bible out, she'd be the one checking for my attention. And when she pressed if I understood, if I agreed with her instead, I'd say yes, too. I could be everything. The proud loyalist and the perfect Catholic. Never much of a loyalist, truthfully. Neither of them actually cared. It was all about who was better. As if people's lives were a sports team. Though, there's an ocean between us now, and thankfully, Uncle Rory doesn't care much about the politics of a country he ditched decades ago. Nor does he care about American politics much either. It's all just information for him to use. So, when the top-of-the-line television set flickered on, I didn't immediately leave the room. It was the first color television I'd seen, which would have been impressive if Uncle Rory put on something else, but the news was solely shot in black and white. I realized quickly it simply bored me. All just talking. Endless. Monotone. Talking. I didn't pay any attention. But then the anchor, Walter Brinkley, disappeared. He replaced that boring, meaningless face. I was caught off guard by his unique mismatched eyes, an oddity I hadn't noticed possible. I wondered how they'd look in color. I'd never intended to listen, but before I could lose focus, his vibrance had captured me. Words spewed from his mouth so fast I wondered if anyone could fully understand him, though I didn't need to. His broad gestures, his unshakable confidence, his declarations about protecting the little guy, it all spoke to me on that first broadcast. My parents never got it. Dad would have put British boots in his mouth without a second thought, and Mom thought the Bible was the key to everything. Neither of them cared about real people. It became me who'd turn on the television when his broadcast aired. Even on nights when Uncle Rory had gone to bed early, I'd still be seated. It was impossible not to feel seen by that handsome news anchor. Sometimes it seemed he was speaking directly to me. And I fully heard him. His concerns about the Soviet Union always caught my ear. After what happened in Japan, I hadn't been able to stop my nerves. The thought that at any moment a nuclear bomb could wipe everything off the map? How was I meant to sleep at night knowing something so horrifying? But he assured me not to lose sight of what matters. The horrors of communism. He always had answers for all the questions eating me alive. I loved listening to him speak. Every word warmed my heart with comfort. Some nights, embarrassingly sober ones, I'd speak back. I do trust you, Mr. Whitman.
I trust you too, Rowan.
I thought about his lips doing a lot of things. It was hard not to think he knew me in some twisted way. We spent so much time together. In some way, he did know me. Perhaps someone similar to me in his inner circle. I couldn't be entirely a stranger. He saw straight through me, right into my soft, squishy core, cradling my weakness like a newborn baby. Unlike anyone else. I imagined him soothing me and assuring me that I could feel love, pure love, for a woman. And I wasn't doomed to be loveless forever. Or, more accurately, destined to forever hold love for the wrong sex. I would trust him enough that whatever he told me would simply be made true. He would fix me, like some sort of anti-homosexuality genie. Then we could be best of friends. The fantasy of a quick fix didn't stop my thoughts from spiraling into wet, hot depravity. Unfortunately. Nights when I was alone and got my hands on Uncle Rory's alcohol, I had never before thought about such unholy things happening to my body. I couldn't meet his eyes for days after those nights. And God forbid he would pop up on a screen while I was in the company of others. Disgust would hit my stomach like an overzealous shot after a night of far too many. as if suddenly those nights sick from whiskey were public for the whole world to see. Thankfully, it was all in my head, known only by myself, and nobody would ever know about my sinful, embarrassing fantasy. I would never meet him. He would stay pure, a fantasy to fill my heart long enough to face my real, loveless life. Only a fantasy. A dirty, naughty, sick little secret. It was the night of my debut. I was so nervous the day I hadn't eaten. Sure, Uncle Rory told me everything would be fine, no matter what I did. That he'd keep me in the spotlight even if I knocked it over half a dozen times with my needlessly long legs. Yet that assurance meant nothing. I didn't care about the job. If the people watching didn't have a good time with me, didn't trust me, there'd be no point. No point to me. I'd fasted all day, most of the night before, too. I'd been right to do so, since I'd certainly retched at the sight if I could have. As I pranced on stage, mismatched eyes caught me in the front row. The gaffer shouted,
Striking!
The audience was blotted out by buzzing white light. No. No. I didn't want to meet him. I didn't want him to know me. Especially not that night. Had he really been there? Perhaps it was a trick of the eyes. My internal screams didn't stop the red on-air sign flickering to life in my peripherals. My brain went dark. Only when the crowd was cheering and the on-air sign fizzled out did I realize where I was and that I was still actively performing. My body had taken over for me. All those years of playing whatever fool asked of me had really paid off. My eyes adjusted as the stage lights clicked off. My heart leapt into my mouth when I saw him still there, clapping alongside everyone else. I was made for this life. At my core, I was made to perform. And now I knew I was beyond good at it. He wouldn't clap for just anyone. It was all I'd ever needed to see. Nothing more. I was in my dressing room by the time people began filtering out. Room was a bit of an overstatement, more like a dressing closet, but its size didn't negate the rush of excitement I felt whenever I saw it. A place all for me. I wondered how differently it was in the news world. Was his room bigger or smaller? Probably smaller, if he had one at all. That felt wrong, like someone so important deserved better. The warm rag peeled back my faux flawless skin. It had felt unnatural applying makeup, though removing it somehow felt even worse. I'd look so much better without the noise of speckles clouding my cheeks. My dressing room/closet shook from Uncle Rory knocking. I could tell it was him, because only Uncle Rory knocks like he's trying to break down whatever door he's pounding on. He opened it before I replied, which I always found quite odd. What was the point of knocking? He didn't cross the threshold, simply hovering above me in the mirror.
Hey, boy, you did good up there. Though one of your fans...
I screamed. Another face joined us in the mirror. I covered my eyes. This wasn't real. It had to be a simply really, really vivid whiskey-induced dream.
Wow, I knew my reputation preceded me, but I never expected such a shock.
The voice from my fantasy announced, now only a pace away in my tight little closet room. I looked up.
Scarlet, this is Mr. Vincent Whitman. You know his broadcast. We were chatting after the show and he asked to meet with you. He wants the, inside scoop. I want to know everything about the inception of Late Night with Rowan Scarlet. I'm very impressed with the production. And with you. It's not typical for such a young man to get a position like this.
My face burned in my hands. I collapsed deeper and deeper until I'd condensed as much as I could in my chair.
I apologize, Mr. Whitman. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Uncle Rory grabbed me by my shirt collar, pulling me out of my protective ball. Mr. Whitman was right in front of me. His eyes were green and blue. I screamed again. This time my legs launched me out of my chair, through the gap between my uncle and my fantastically impossible true love. I fell on all fours, scrambling to my feet and running. What in God's name was I doing? Why was I running? Where was I running? The answer was anywhere those cool colored eyes couldn't follow. I collapsed into a random alleyway. Sweat poured down my back, stained my suit. My body had finally stopped pumping me full of blinding adrenaline, and now only the terrible reality of what I'd done remained. I'd met my idol, the man I'd thought about every day since he first popped up on my television screen. Since I was a teen. The man who'd made me feel safe every night. Who'd been clapping for me. And I'd screamed in his face. What a grand demonstration of my trust in him. I had to fix this.